Another treat for you today. This is a collaboration beer between the Craft Beer Channel and Utopian Brewery. They are trying to recreate a legendary beer that the Craft Beer Channel guys tried in the Czech Republic many, many years ago, back at the early stages of the channel. And they still to this day say it is the best lager that they've ever tried. And they want to try and recreate it, but with the nuance of using all English ingredients, British ingredients that Utopian is famous for. So this is their Sumavé Pilsner. So this was brewed for the Love and Beer Festival, which is put on by the Craft Beer Channel. I would love to go to this festival. It looks really fun, and lots of great breweries that come, and lots of home brewing going on, all that kind of stuff. So I just moved back to the UK. I'm in Finland right now, but I just moved back to the UK, and perhaps next year I can actually go along to the Love and Beer Festival. It does look like a lot of fun. Anyway, they produce a bunch of different collaboration beers with some of their favorite breweries for the festival, and this is one of them. I've had this in the fridge for a little while, but now's the time, I think. And it is still quite fresh. We've got until the end of April on it. So the brewery that they are trying to recreate the beer from is from the Bohemian Forests, and it's a bit of a kind of mythical brewery. It doesn't exist anymore, but back in the early days of the Craft Beer Channel, they went over to Czechia, and someone said that this is the best beer in Czechia, and they went along, and the guy was proven correct, and these Craft Beer Channel duo have been obsessed with it ever since, and they've managed to only get it one more time, and then the brewery's gone out of business. That brewery is called Kut na Sumavé, and it is a 12-degree Plato Czech Pilsner, and they're recreating it with all British ingredients. So you're looking at Hana malt pils, which is a Czech heritage Pilsner malt that is grown in the UK. It's not a modern premium Pilsner malt. It is an old school barley malt. They're also using caramalt, which is like a bit of a Czech secret, not so much anymore. That's how they get a bit more kind of flavor and edges of toastiness, and then also that famous kind of deep golden color. And then they're using East Kent Goldings, which is a kind of flowery, earthy hints of kind of berry fruits and maybe a little bit of citrus. So somewhat, quite probably the best you can get towards SARS in terms of an English hop variety. It's is going to give it that kind of flowery, hedgerowy, little bit earthy kind of hop aroma and flavor. So they brewed this to go along with the traditional Czech brewing methods. They've ditched like the pH measurements and adjustments. They're going for a full triple decoction, which is insane for a modern brewery, I guess, in terms of time scale and costs and everything. But they wanted to do this really, really correctly. They've got a long boil, long mash, triple decoction. It's all going on in this beer, which is very, very exciting to me. I don't want to talk too much. I think it's all been said on the Craft Beer Channel. You should go and watch the video where they go to Utopian and they do the full brew day and they talk about the beer and the process and everything. It is very, very interesting. Very, very beer nerdy, but I love that kind of video. That's why I love the Craft Beer Channel, because they give you like your hype breweries and your hype beers, but they also go super nerdy on processes. And the guy at Utopian is trained in Munich, so he's very expert on German brewing techniques, but he's also branched out into Czech. And even for me, like for example, I was making my Helles with about a 5.29 pH, and just watching that Craft Beer Channel video where he mentions 5.4, 5.5 for a Czech beer and for a German beer, that made me go, whoa, I'm too low on my pH, and it made me read it more and understand, for my German pills, that kind of lower pH is great. It makes it a bit crisper, blah, blah, blah. But for helles, you want it a bit more bready, a little bit more softer on the malt roundness. 5.4 to 5.5 pH is the ideal kind of range. So that was that kind of thing that you learn from these videos, and that's why I love the channel. But back to this beer, I'll go off on a tangent. Yeah, man. So this is a Sumavé Pils. I'm expecting kind of bready, honeyed, deep orange, kind of flowery, earthy, perhaps a little bit fruity kind of aroma and flavor, and just like a really, really beautiful high bitterness 40 IBU beer, and just really well made. I watched their own review of it at the Love and Beer Festival. They rated this a 9 out of 10. So this is, I'm expecting, going to be absolutely wonderful. But let's see. I like to see for myself. Don't trust anyone in this world. Nah, man, this is going to be absolutely delightful, I think, and I'm very, very excited about this one. So, yeah, British brewed, naturally independent, Utopian Brewery in collaboration with a craft beer channel for the Love and Beer Festival. This is Sumavé Pils. Right, look at that. That looks insane. Look at the head on that. Beautiful white, thick foam on it. Looks absolutely fantastic. That is the product of a triple decoction and the Hana Pilsner malt. It is a slightly kind of hazy beer, a really kind of beautiful, dark, deep gold color, almost leaning into a very light copper, very, very light copper, like dark gold, very light copper. Just looks bang on for a kind of traditional Czech Pils, Czech lager. It looks like an unbelievable beer. Yeah, I could stare at this for a little while, but I won't. Let me give it a sniff. Oh, yeah. It smells really great. It smells lightly sweet, bready, like a bready biscuity sweetness going on, and then a really nice gentle floral addition to that kind of biscuity sweetness. They've got that East Kent Goldings to really kind of perform in a really subtle way on the aroma, expecting it to be a little bit more kind of like earthy and a bit more rugged as English hops are. But this is smelling very delicate. Honestly, this this smells unbelievable. I'm not gonna hang about. I'm gonna have a sip of it. Big beaming smile there. Yeah, really great beer, man. Really, really great. And it's just taking my brain time to process everything that's going on with that. So I'll have another sip. I deal with it first. It's got a nice a nice bitterness to it. It's up there, but it's kind of rounded out on the edges, so it's not sharp. But it's a it's definitely up around 40, but like it doesn't linger too long. It kind of rolls off after that initial kind of hit and rolls into this beautiful malt sweetness that's going on. Yeah, that malt sweetness has complexity, of course, from the triple decoction. It starts out kind of brioche sweet and then goes into a more complex kind of biscuit or toast crust edge, which is really really nice and really pairs well with that higher IBU of a Czech Pilsner. And then those hops are again kind of delicate and subtle, which is I associate less with English hops, but I guess they can be. But again, it's kind of floral, hinting onto kind of hedgerow berries, I'd say. Yeah, they've absolutely smashed this beer. And if this is anything, if if the beer that they're talking about that they tried in the Bohemian Forest, is even better than this, then wow, I mean, they must have hit like a diamond, um, mythical diamond of a beer, because this is really wonderful. And the fact that this is all British ingredients apart from the yeast, which is from a brewery that they said in the video, but I'm not going to say. I don't know. It seemed a bit awkward, so I'm not going to say. But it's a proper Czech brewery, and so the yeast is not English, but everything else is British. So Hana malt, bit of Cara, and then obviously the hops. So the fact that they can hit this level of Czech pills and it tastes like this and look like this and smell like this is so impressive, and also I think absolutely great. And one thing I always say about Utopian is I love that they are recreating these German and Czech styles, and they're nailing them. But what I also love, and what I also think that they should maybe lean into in some of their releases, is to try and bring it even more English, in the same way that like American IPAs took the English IPA and made them American IPAs. They should do that like towards English, and like you can have an English pills that is like similar to a Czech pills, but kind of pushes even more of the English hops or whatever. I would love to see what that is. But in terms of recreating a Czech pills to kind of match what these lads wanted in terms of recreating that beer that they wish they could try again, but using all British ingredients, that is wonderful. That is absolutely wonderful. So I'm pouring more in, and this can is definitely going on the shelf. Um, it's a nice can. They've adjusted the Utopian. Um, they've adjusted the Utopian logo to include Brad and Johnny on there. Very cool. Very very cool. They've got the jug as well from the original video, so it was served to Johnny in a jug. Um, yeah, man. Everything about this is just like uh, my beer nerd brain is just like running. Like the RPMs are just like revving up, like it's wonderful. Um, yeah, man, I'm gonna pour some more and enjoy this beer. I think one thing to say, which also came out in the video interview with the head brewer um, of Utopian, is that like he's Munich trained German beers, and they're much more precise. Of course, that's what Germans are famous for. Whereas Czech beers are a bit more kind of like, this is the way we've always done it, and this is what we do, and we know that if we do this part of the process, it'll achieve this, and we don't need a little measurement thing to tell us you're bang on 5.2 or you've hit this number or whatever. They're kind of like, this is what our ancestors did, and it worked really well, and we're just doing the same, and it's producing fantastic beers. So that's what Utopian tried to do in this brew. um, and it does give you this kind of bit more rugged edge to the Czech lagers than you get with the really refined, like Munich Bavarian styles. But that being said, if you drink around Bavaria, some of the more kind of smaller regional breweries, you can get that kind of rustic edge to the beers, which kind of reminds me of like the Czech styles. And this very much sits in that kind of category of like, it's beautiful, but it has that complexity of, I guess, like not super refined process management and hitting targets and blah, blah, blah. So it allows the malts and the decoction and the hops and everything to kind of express even more than the kind of tight refinement of like really expertly engineered brewing like you get in Germany. So yeah, man, just a wonderful beer. The whole story of it, the process, the English, British ingredients, Utopian brewery. I just love every aspect of it, and I'm really happy that I managed to get hold of this. I got it from the malt miller. I don't think it's available anymore, so sorry about that. I wish I'd got more than one because it's really honestly great, really great. Um, Little defect on the label as well. It's very upsetting. Yeah, I'm not gonna talk anymore. I'm actually, for a change, you're not gonna watch me drink the whole beer in a video because I just want to sit and enjoy this actually. So there you go. That is as highest a review I can give is I'm switching the camera off so I can sit in a chair and just enjoy the beer. So cheers to that.